My name is Eleanor Rose Callahan, and the last day I was allowed to be a person instead of a resident was Tuesday, March 14th, 2023. I remember because the daffodils I planted in 1998 were just starting to poke their little green swords through the dirt along the front walk of the house on Nod Road. The same walk where David learned to ride a bike without training wheels, where his father Tommy shoveled snow every winter until the heart attack took him at 56. Where I carried grocery bags and babies and Christmas trees and, once, a drunk husband who'd celebrated the Red Sox too hard. I was in the kitchen making coffee the old way, drip pot, Folgers, no pods, no apps, when David walked in wearing the same navy suit he wore to his first promotion dinner. Only now it had a little Tesla logo on the breast pocket, like he was some kind of astronaut. Mom. One word. The tone I knew from the time he was 8 and broke my mother's Rosenthal platter. Guilty, but already rehearsing the excuse. I turned around, dish towel still in my hand. You're early. I haven't even started the bacon. We need to talk. There it was, the sentence that ends every life as you knew it. He laid the brochures on my table like he was dealing cards. Glossy covers, smiling silver-haired models playing pickleball, Willow Crest, Sunrise Ridge, Harbor View Estates, all with the same fake ducks on fake ponds. I fell once, David. Once. I'm not dying. You could have broken your hip. You live alone. Lauren and I talked. Lauren talked. You nodded. His jaw tightened the way Tommy's used to when the Sox blew a ninth-inning lead. We toured them. Willow Crest is the best. 24-hour care, activities, friends your age. I have friends my age. They drink martinis and swear and still drive to Foxwoods on Fridays. I don't need a campus. He slid one brochure closer. The woman on the cover had teeth so white they looked radioactive. Nam, you're being difficult. I laughed so hard the coffee sloshed. Difficult is what you called me when I wouldn't let you pierce your ear at 14. This is something else. Then he said the sentence that still wakes me at 3 a.m. You're too much for us now. Too much. 47 years of birthdays, recitals, chicken soup at midnight, college tuition, wedding money we couldn't afford. And I had become a spilled drink he needed to mop up before the guests arrived. I stared at him until the silence hurt. Get out of my kitchen, David. He left the brochures. I left them there for 3 days until the cleaning lady threw them in the recycling. I should have known that was only round 1. The actual fall happened 8 days later. I was shaving my legs, yes, at 78 because some habits die harder than husbands, and the bath mat slipped. 1 second I was humming Sinatra, the next I was staring at the ceiling praying I hadn't broken anything expensive. Nothing broken, just a hip that turned the color of an eggplant and pride that hurt worse. David arrived before the ambulance. He took one look at me in my terry cloth robe on the bathroom floor, and I saw the decision click into place behind his eyes like the safety on a gun. Willow Crest it was. He and Lauren moved fast. Power of attorney papers, just in case. A realtor to get the house ready for market while you recover. And a one-way ride in a medical transport van that smelled like pine cleaner and broken dreams. I asked about Pickles, my 16-year-old tabby who thinks she's a dog. Cats aren't allowed, Mom. Allergies. I asked if I could bring Tommy's ashes. He'd sat on the mantle since 2001. They have rules about cremains. I asked if I could at least keep my coffee maker. They gave me a single-serve Keurig and a welcoming basket with sugar-free hard candy and a pamphlet titled, "Your New Chapter Begins Here." Willow Crest is beautiful the way funeral homes are beautiful. Everything beige and quiet and pretending death isn't coming. My room smelled like new carpet and somebody else's lavender plug-in. Twin bed, hospital corners sharp enough to cut yourself on. A window that looked out on the service entrance where teenagers in hoodies smoked weed behind the dumpsters. The first night I sat on the plastic mattress cover and cried until my ribs hurt worse than my hip. An aide named Tiffany, 2 eyes, no heart, brought me a warm washcloth and a tiny paper cup with Ativan. I flushed the pill and kept the washcloth pressed to my face until the shaking stopped. That's when I met Dolores. She rolled in, literally, in a wheelchair she could pop wheelies in, wearing leopard print pajamas and a smirk. "First night's the worst," she said. "After that, you either kill yourself or start planning the escape." I'm Dolores, Vegas, 1962 to 89. 2 husbands, 3 strokes, still got great legs when they work. She became my first friend in exile. Dolores, ex-showgirl, mastermind, keeper of the spare Buick keys. Frank, Vietnam dust-off pilot, bourbon in the Bible, still calls women ma'am even when they're 90. Marion, former Copa Room cigarette girl, claims Sinatra wrote My Way about her, has the napkin in a Ziploc. Me, Ellie, former housewife, current felon in training. We claimed the corner table in the dining hall. The aides were terrified of us. We tipped in butter pats and secrets. Every Sunday, David promised to visit. Twice he showed up, both times with Lauren waiting in the Tesla doing emails. He brought Starbucks I couldn't drink, oat milk makes me fart, and talked about the kids' travel, soccer, and interest rates. Never once asked me what I missed. I stopped asking when he was coming. I started planning when we were leaving. The escape itself was almost boring in its simplicity. Dolores never surrendered her license. Her nephew parked her 2009 Buick LeSabre behind the kitchen dumpsters in 2018 and forgot about it. Connecticut doesn't make you retest at our age if you don't get tickets. Dolores never got tickets. She got standing ovations. At 2:07 a.m. on September 12, 2023, the 4 of us walked out the front door like we were headed to chair yoga. Frank carried the road atlas and the flask of Wild Turkey 101. Marion wore the mink stole and enough Chanel No. 5 to gas a small army. Dolores had the keys and the grin sharp enough to cut glass. I brought cookies, Tommy's ashes in a Tupperware, rules be damned, and a heart that finally remembered how to beat. We rolled past the duck pond doing 12 miles an hour so the security camera would think we were maintenance. By the time the night nurse noticed we were gone, we were already on I-84 headed west, with Springsteen on the radio and the windows down. Freedom smelled like McDonald's coffee and September air. We became America's most wanted grandmas. GoFundMe? Help 4 badass grannies see the country before the nursing home catches us, Marion titled it. We raised $47,000 in a week. We ate pie in every state. Frank taught me how to shoot a flare gun in Nebraska. Dolores danced on a bar in Nashville, wheelchair and all. Marion got proposed to by a 79-year-old biker in Sturgis. I scattered some of Tommy's ashes at every national park we slept in, illegally, gloriously. David called, screamed, threatened, begged. I let it ring. Somewhere over the Rockies, I stopped being too much and started being exactly enough. We reached Cannon Beach on a Tuesday in October, exactly 7 months to the day since David signed me away. We stood at the edge of the continent with wind tearing at what was left of our hair and the ocean roaring like it had been waiting for us since 1945. Dolores lit her last cigarette with shaking hands. Worth it, Ellie? I thought of the empty house already staged for sale, of grandkids who only know me through screens, of a son who couldn't watch his mother eat without trying to outsource the parts that scared him. I opened my arms wide enough to hug the whole damn Pacific. I said, hell yes. We're still out here. David is still looking for a facility with better locks. Good luck, baby. Your mother is currently somewhere between the next piece of pie and the rest of her life riding shotgun with 3 fugitives and a heart that finally remembered how to beat loud. I'm not too much anymore. I'm just getting started.